Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Yeah. Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it.
Careful.
Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just can't. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean you won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. Now just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach, hug him up.
He's breathing. On the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Stay. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to College Apex Split 2 Finals. Zephyr, it's been a while since we've been on broadcast together, I'll be honest, but I know that the College Apex scene has been really cooking over the past few weeks, and now this culmination for the Split 2 Finals is going to be the thing to keep our eyes on, because we've not just got a day of matches, we've got a day of matches in match points. So a lot of excitement, a lot of that professional level experience really coming to a head for all of our most dedicated teams that have been playing this split.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first season for College Apex, specifically this. You're going to hear us say College Apex a lot. We are referring specifically to this series, not the overall synopsis of College Apex. But as that being said, this is the first Split 2 for them, right? This is the breadth of so many new teams getting involved with this specific league, and also now on their way to, for some of these squads, their first playoffs. Not all of them, though. There was an initial Split 1 earlier this semester that these two will combine as we talk about champs later on.
And like you mentioned, this is a scene, it is a tournament series that is growing and that is not alone. One of the things that I want to mention for people who may be just getting into this, we are acquiring new teams, new viewers, new people who are interested in the scene, is what on earth you're doing here. Because Zephyr, you've got a very specific connection to Collegiate Apex that I think we should always disclose before any Collegiate Apex stream.
I am a college student. That's the first one. I still am in university. Don't let the facade of pro casting fool you. I am also the coach of Texas A&M, who you will see today and who I will promise you I am not in communication with. And even if I was, we are delayed here on the broadcast. So there's no chance for me to make any real impacts there. But that being said, I, for the last 2 years, have gotten to see the growth of College Apex, not just here, but across so many other leagues on our platform, blossom and become this true environment for these college players to strut their stuff and get out there and ultimately not only win these leagues, but also some money and, of course, their pride that still resides on the line here today.
And one of the things that I really love about being on these streams with you, Zephyr, is that you have a lot of pride, not just in what your school is able to accomplish, although you will hear Zephyr's pride in what his school is able to accomplish today, but for the collegiate scene as a whole. I do want to take a look at our standings, our teams that will be playing today, and where they'll be going on our maps, because this is where we can start to break down who your big teams to look out for are, who's experienced a lot of growth throughout the split. So just taking a look at where we'll be dropping in first, that'll be on Storm Point. What's standing out to you about Storm Point? What teams, Zephyr, do you expect to do well here?
Yeah, just taking a look at this list right here, right off the bat. Going down, KSU Apex, big hitters on the board. They've won 2 major collegiate competitions in the last year, so definitely one to watch out for today as we are on match point. Further than Minnesota State having and showing some incredible improvement and real consistency across Collegiate Apex in this split too. And then below that, I will point out Oklahoma, who currently leads coming off of the Split 2 playoffs and had first priority for their Storm Point location, finding their way on the lightning rod, wrapping up the rest here. Texas A&M in 12th. I will say no more, as I already have made it clear that I think they're amazing. And down below there, Southern Miss, definitely another squad to watch out for, as they've got some familiar faces, if you like the pro scene.
A couple of other teams that I'd like to keep my eyes on for a few different reasons, but are Winthrop and North Park, who are dropping at Jurassic and Ferrari. Specifically on Storm Point, just from a POI perspective, Winthrop and North Park should have a really noticeable impact on the macro of this game, depending on how they choose to play it, because while these POIs aren't particularly powerful, they do have a lot of mobility in the early game.
So with that being said here, we've got all of our teams ready to compete. 19 squads on the board there. We are just about short one, but I promise you it will not delay the amount of competition we see here when we talk about these teams, because even with some of the high point scores that we have taken a look at across the NSC as a whole, there is still a wealth of competition when you then get into those later lobbies, those round 5, those round 6s, I think they're just as competitive.
They really can be, especially as teams start to dial in. And one of the interesting things about how I'm expecting this lobby to play out is going to be the difference between how early game, mid game is, and then the very quick dial in to a calculated late game, because you really do have to control things at one point. You actually mentioned Oklahoma, who had a really killer finish to this split so far. They've been able to really dial in end games to secure a lot of wins that way, but a big part of succeeding in College Apex as well is knowing when you can just push a team, when you can get really aggressive in the early and mid game.
Yeah, and for a lot of these squads, this is probably one of the more aggressive leagues that they get the chance to participate in due to some of the variants that we get to see. And so you will watch as teams kind of balance this play style where, especially in the early to mid game, they are going to be out there hunting, or at least even for some of these squads, defending their lives against some of the hunters as they themselves become prey. But then, yes, as we get toward those mid to late games, especially with the pressures of match point on the line, it'll take a more defensive, methodical stance as a lot of these squads get to flex the standard Apex that they have come to learn here in the competitive sense in collegiate.
Thank you for reminding me. Match point. We should probably talk about that. We say it like it's just something that everybody knows. And if you've been watching Apex, you do probably know what match point is, but there are probably some folks out there that don't know what match point is. So let's talk about it. I mean, Apex, of course, you probably know, Battle Royale. We've got a bunch of teams dropping in. That's why we have 19 teams listed in our finals today. But once you end up accruing points through a variety of your placement, through a variety of your kills, however it ends up breaking down, you're going to be accumulating them over the course of the tournament. Once you hit 50 points total overall in the standings, the next game you begin, if you win it, you win the whole thing. I feel like I almost explained that in a way that wasn't confusing, Zephyr. Do you want to help me out?
Get to 50, win the game afterwards. That's it. We've got a standard ALGS format. If you participate in Apex, you've seen it. 12, 9, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with the scaling of your placement, 1 point per KP. Get to 50. That's the goal. And then once you're there, win.
I do just really quickly want to say that I feel like the way that I phrased it, and I will say maybe the way that you phrased it as well, makes it seem like you have to win the game after you hit 50 points. It doesn't have to be that game. Like any game, as long as you have 50 or more points, if you win that. I just want to be really, really clear. Like,
I like your style. Once you hit 50 points, you got one chance.
Otherwise, you reset to 0.
We remove you from the game. You start back at 0. No, just to be absolutely clear, 50, and then any game afterwards, what we call it is you are match point eligible. That means any win from that point onwards secures you your position among the top, and it does not matter where your score falls compared to where other competitors. You could be slightly lower, but as long as you have that win, you are in first place. And this is really important right now, especially because we are still settling on spots for the future of Collegiate Apex's competitions. There's a last chance qualifier where those teams will be competing for some of those slots as well. But here today, the top 8 teams will move on to compete or seal their spot in the finals, the overall collegiate finals that will take place in early May here. So it's not just the win that's on the board, it is a coveted placement to go alongside it.
Yeah, we are like very close. The end of the season gets quite compact, especially since everybody's been playing from week to week, but the competition still very much today, whether you come out on top or not, still is going to be something that you're walking away from today from as a learning experience, and it is one of the few times that you're going to get to experience Match Point up until we get to the grand finals in early May.
Yeah. So even though I will say I'm never one to prey upon failure, you're coming out here for the win today, not just for the placements. You're trying to duke on everybody, but there is the opportunity here, albeit a small one. 2 slots still available in last chance qualifiers. We have 10 coming from that first split, and that will make up the total 20 teams we will see in our final lobby later on this split here. But hey, this is also your best chance of practice. A lot of these squads you will be seeing reoccurring again here as we approach the very final competition. So this is also one of the few chances for a lot of these squads, especially the new ones, to get a taste of match point format, which is a completely different ball game.
That's very true. And I will say, in some ways, I'm thinking, well, this should test a lot of our teams. In other ways, I'm thinking that this will almost be a magnum opus for some squads that have had their come up during this split. I'm thinking specifically of Minnesota State when I say this. They've had a lot of top 3 placements. They've done a really good job of winning games consistently. It feels like, I mean, if this is a good day for them, or rather, if it's not a bad day for Minnesota State, this could be a really, really good day for a very consistent squad.
I know Schmalz is out there somewhere potentially listening to this. That guy absolutely loves a little dose of Zephyr, and I'll tell you what, I understand why. I can't stop myself from absolutely glazing the man when we talk about his prowess on Minnesota State. The leader, the head fragger, the big boy on the lot, Schmalz, watch out for him. He usually is on that Ash, and you will likely get a taste of that Dia as we make our way through matches. But that's not to say Speed Demon and Gravity have not been an absolutely crucial part of Minnesota State. They've shown so much improvement. We talk about open lobbies in Octane to now Premier League in Octane. Here in Collegiate Apex, they have been absolutely dominant across the board. One of the top 3 rosters, or at least arguably a top 3 roster, all throughout the split. And like I said earlier, it's consistency for them. They're one of the few teams that have shown up every single match day and have continually dropped bombs to at least deliver themselves to this final position. So a threat, but one you also have to be careful about. If Schmalz goes down, if you don't have that absolute leader of a force, it does get a bit weaker when we talk about that Minnesota roster. Expect to see him in zone.
Okay, okay. So even a little bit of play style to be thrown in here. I actually had a very specific question for you about your roster that I'm hoping you can answer without
Oh.
leaking any strats. The question was, what on earth is Swifty going to play today? Why? Because Swifty has been playing so many different I actually have no way of predicting what Swifty's going to play.
This is a reflection of my coaching immediately.
No.
I've never.
I'm like, what
I
are you-
actually like
what are
my
you
face
doing?
is starting to become flush a little bit, because yeah, we're figuring it out. We are figuring
Okay,
it out.
cool.
He is a prowess. I'm going to use that word a lot because I'm a failure of a caster, but he is an incredible fragger that goes alongside Fiddle Dude as making up the kind of two-daggered approach for this team when we talk about their damage output here. And the reality is we've still been in a big decision-making for finding that absolutely perfect legend for Swifty because, at least for me, my coaching style, it's all about the comfort, right? I do want to put, scouts on forward playing legends like Ash, and I want to put our saviors like Pear on Newcastle to come in and seal the deal, even if he ain't landing his shots, right? Swifty, it's all about comfort. My man's got 3 brain cells, and you know what? We cannot challenge them further here. Zach, I love you with all my heart. I won't say exactly what legend it is because I feel like it's funnier to leave it to the day, but I'll tell you what, he's only using the 1 brain cell to make his way through.
Okay. I'm excited. I will say that if it was any other team, the level of trash talk would be completely unacceptable. Because it's your team, I know that I know that it's fine. When I hear you say it though, I'm like, oh my god, you can't just say that about players, dude.
These are guys who come hang out in my apartment. That's the world we live in, Dia. Sneaky there. Let's keep moving on. We got some extra time, of course, because we are, I do want to confirm, remaking some of these lobbies, getting players in and out as we are dealing with some minor crashes. Shout out to my boy in chat here, Toddy. I cannot help or force teams to crash less or more, so we just got to put our hands up in the air and do our best to offer a competitive standard.
Stop pressing the buttons on Tamu's computers.
Yeah,
please.
true. I will. Yeah. Every time I cast, everyone out here, I will promise. There's no button presses. There's nothing. I am just a sole commentator.
I will say, to our benefit, we had a couple other teams that I wanted to talk to you about, and they were Oklahoma and KSU. You actually highlighted KSU, and I didn't expect you to highlight KSU at the start of the stream. So I mean, what makes them stand out as a squad specifically today? Because I was looking at the results towards the end of the split, and they may be a good squad, but they aren't a squad that's had great results recently.
This is fair. I do think they have a really good head about their program over there at KSU. And remember, I was a bit wrong earlier in my statement. The initial KSU roster, the big boy KSU roster, is the one that has defined a lot of the winning moments. This is an alternative roster that does work with some of their other players at the college. And so while we do see some mixes and matches, I still think in terms of a winningest team, or at least a winningest program, KSU leads the board here. We might not be seeing that same level, though, of course, as these players are, we could say, potentially JV. But I still think that they've got a program and a very strong, backing between players like Misplace who can help kind of put this team on their right foot forward.
Yeah, KSU really interesting because they were even playing some crypto at the end. I mean, I know everybody picked up Ash, which is super... I mean, it felt really weird at the start of the split when Ash got updated, and I was like, oh, now everybody's playing Ash. But it just makes sense. It's a legend that you have to have in your wheelhouse now. What stands out to me about KSU is the fact that they're also willing to play things like Loba and like Crypto. Crypto, who is, I'd say, really fallen off in terms of favorability. You do have some squads that'll run him here and there, but he's not the must pick that he was a couple playoffs ago.
Yeah, I think ultimately, especially in this lobby today, things like the crypto, you have to be really good at managing it because it does slow the pace of your roster out. If you're a team that can take advantage of using it as that go button, fantastic. But many times we've seen from the match days as well as playoffs, there are a lot of teams who do get caught out in the process of trying to make the crypto work. And especially with how aggressive some of these other rosters can be, that can come back to bite them.
That is very true. It's a tough balance with crypto, right? You get some guaranteed effectiveness, but beyond that, it is 2 players for a little while, and when you're going up against squads with the firepower that we've got here in our very first game of the day, Zephyr. Split 2 finals in College Apex are kicking off as we speak. So let's see what game 1 holds for us. What teams will start coming out on top in the very first game of Match Point Finals?
I mean, it is absolutely one of my favorite things to look at here, starting with Tamu. They're out here by Mills. A phenomenal, by the way, drop. We didn't get to really discuss this. POI draft dictated by those playoffs. A lot of our stronger teams, now they're even stronger. Great POIs to work with, ones that they've had the chance to at least abuse all split long, that they will continue to do so for Texas A&M. They've got a big berth of land there, especially with Down Beast not in the picture here today. If they want to make for Northern Rotates, it is something that they have at least to work with if we see Zone pull that way.
Now, this was this a pretty early pick for you guys on Texas A&M? Were you going middle first round, or did you end up picking it up second round after you realized the Down Beast was empty?
No idea. You'd have to ask Swifty. I wasn't there that day.
Okay. It wasn't even. Dude, it's crazy to me that Jurassic and Ferrari were picked and Down Beast was passed by. That's the real question. So maybe I will send Swifty a message. Speaking of Swifty, we did get that question pre-broadcast answered. He's playing Bangalore for our first match.
Yes,
but
it'll likely stay that way too. I'm not going to hide it anymore. It is a settled done deal. Gives a little bit of flexibility there. Sad things to say though. Minnesota's JV roster, they're going to be playing as a duo here, Dia. Gunner and Flight to work with, well, hopefully some safety as they hide their way through their initial drops.
Yeah, starting off over at Launchpad, you'd think things were going to go well, but how is he actually not spotted? Flight not being spotted here is crazy.
I'm thoroughly confused what the path is here. Ultimately, that's going to force out the early ultimate utilization from the Raj. We'll take this one out piece by piece to see who's not the bamboozle. E-Gunner, and even as a duo, still looking for this behind the rock. Mozambiques will seal the deal as Killanut is killing nothing.
Oh my god, wait, SVC Gold are also a duo.
Oh. Okay.
What's happening?
Yeah,
it's like the south end of the map, like Launchpad, Devastated Coast, are just two duos slamming each other.
Ooh, for KSU, this is the team we want to watch. It is as good as it. Oh no! Okay, I want to make this clear now. Misplays, Wrecked Emporium, Lighten. This is the dominant KSU roster. Our information is now sealed in stone with our first observation of them. This is the team that has delivered on some incredible wins this collegiate split, and Misplays himself, a largely tenured player in collegiate. So this kind of chase right here at the early game, they've already forced away Park, and now will lay stake and claim here with that scan. I worry for these teams because they are not one to slow down.
Yeah, coming out of Checkpoint at the pace that KSU did as well really sets the tone for how they want to play this lobby. Now, they have been scanned in return, so that's actually a really nice move from up on the hill. Speed Demon did get ahead of them, and it will help keep everyone safe from KSU for the time being as we get a rotation up towards Command Center.
North Park here were, though, decimated. Down the one, and Pizzaman no longer available on this roster, so playing for recovery, which is always a challenge, especially as early as this game. And as we take it back towards that map, KSU are far from slowing things down themselves. We'll pop on over to Maryville and Winthrop as they are getting into the heat of it here. Toe tickling Toady. We make claims in Twitch chat. Now we're making for shots across the way.
That is a wild name to walk into your collegiate finals with, but I am absolutely here for it. Winthrop going to lock down a building, playing pretty heavy zone. There was another team that we wanted to look out for in zone as well. You mentioned Oklahoma really early on as a team that was likely going to play for the end game rather than trying to sit around the edge of zone like KSU were earlier. So maybe we'll see them joining teams like Winthrop in Barometer here soon.
These two buildings, though, make for a very, very tough association of any kind of push. For the time being, they're likely just going to have this GA, right? It's a bit too risky, especially with some of these other teams from Edge slowly inking their way. The same can be said down here towards the south.
Yeah, the fact that we do have some teams stacked down here is I'd say like an edge case bet. This doesn't look like a zone that pulls significantly further south to me, but it's also one of those things where zones are really difficult to read, and if, say, CSUF get this right, and the zone does end up coming down to them, being ahead of the game is just going to be so incredibly valuable to them.
Target acquired. There.
Oklahoma.
They have one player. I hear how well
They don't.
going.
They don't.
Yeah,
They've got
well,
three. They got three.
Oh, okay.
I
don't know what's happening
Apex
there.
glitch. No, you're good.
Cool.
Just observer things. That's not anyone's fault. But for Ottawa, they're happy to try to play around this crack. I personally think that was just a bit too late there. You want to be dropping that portal so much earlier after you've fallen through with a lot of that damage they did secure. Now, I mean, they've given Oklahoma the chance to set themselves up here in Stormcatcher. The zone not really going to be a factor that pressures them to make more dangerous moves. Likely nothing to come out of this.
I mean, even with the way that it's much faster to take people down to find KP in Apex than it was a few months ago, Oklahoma just have such a good position to be able to reset as well. So I am glad to see University of Ottawa ditching this fight for a little while, but I'm surprised, even on the minimap right now, to see Oklahoma actually shadowing them and not going south from Stormcatcher.
U of H here, long deep rotates out and ahead. It's still stuck on the outskirts of zone. We did see KSU and Texas A&M go for a bit of a swap there towards Cito. They'll set themselves up on Bean, and that scan does give them away. This is a really good position for KSU to be the gatekeepers of this southern side of the zone.
We've still got 18 teams. It's actually been a pretty calm early game, all things considered. Nice rotational portal to be used by UH White, and I had myself wondering where we saw Tamu. I'm seeing them just rotating into Barometer now as one of our teams that did have the luxury of choosing, where we do still have some squads that are playing really hard edge meanwhile.
Ottawa playing so defensively have turned their sights across them. A perfect setup for Ben Chen here with that Sentinel. And those P2020s, they won't slow anything down as actually it's Faustus from the other side leaping in with the passive.
CSULB, I think it caught a bit unawares there. And this is one of the things that will be adjusted over the course of the day, but right now, University of Ottawa are just taking control, taking every advantage that they can of teams that aren't prepared for how they were going to play today, what the game plan was, moving it around the edge of the map. It's foreseeable once you've played a few games, but at this point, the single kill secured for University of Ottawa, and even the check behind them, gives them the impetus to be able to continue pushing on this duo.
At 56 seconds to go, they've got the time to work with here, and the best part about it is that if they continue to send on CSULB, they actually will find themselves closer and closer to that zone there. So something to watch out for. Granted, they are allowing for a lot of distance to be created here. We'll have to make some claims as we tune in with the east side of the map. I want to point out we've got 6 squads out here really taking their time. A lot of those duos from earlier, most notably, yes, Minnesota's JV roster here still sitting out towards that launch pad.
And they're so spread out as well. Even as a duo, the fact that they're not playing in the zone, they're sitting around the edge, sitting around their initial POI, and just maintaining a lot of space. I mean, yes, they might lose one person, but they're unlikely to lose both.
Gunner. All said and done for my boy, or girl, as we take a look at Loba. It will be fine for Flight as they use that opportunity to completely split for Pylon. Don't know how, at least likely, they'll be able to craft and get Gunner back into the mix. But for Minnesota, any kind of craft will set themselves up, of course, with that respawn beacon as well in their pocket. So something at least to play for.
Pretty nice to see Oklahoma get that kill and just immediately continue rotating towards Pylon as well. Another POI that will bring you ever closer to where the zone appears to be going in Barometer, but there's also going to be a lot of traffic coming in and out of Pylon because you can move there from Jurassic pretty easily, because Launchpad is a natural rotation, and as you go a little further south towards Coastal Camp to make your way into Barometer, you encounter even more traffic.
This kind of traffic here is one that smells wells. Flight set in stone, and that'll be one of our first squads eliminated now from the game. Minnesota's JV unable to find the protection necessary. Now for Cardinal, turning around, looking to see if they can punish this late rotation from Oklahoma here. Out through the skies. Charges will find some level of burst there on Carlon. That'd be a fantastic knock as Sleep King just can't quite lead those final shots.
Yeah, I mean, well, the last ones don't connect. That is a terrifying start to the fight from Sleep King. They did just pick up a kill, so it is a nice way for the first game to begin for CSUDH Cardinal, but they're going to be encountering SVC Gold, who was our other duo from earlier in the match, right behind them. So there could be essentially a full squad's worth of KP picked up by them in a few minutes.
Mike Guy fan apparently was out of it. Now, finally back into the game. More than happy to take some time here. Pop a shot or two. A single final bullet will seal the deal just as they've come back into it. CSUDH looking for that last remaining member, but granted, still a lot of time you can spend out in the zone here. Might not be the best investment, though.
Sleep King's actually so terrifying with this charge rifle. I almost wish we were going to an area of the map that was a little better for the charge rifle, because right now, moving into Barometer, there's such a disparity between height and not that when CSUDH, I'm going to keep having to say that, when CSUDH end up moving into the zone, there's really just not that much value you can get out of a charge rifle when compared to something like they say Rampage, a 30-30, even G7.
I'll tell you what, CSULB prime positions to try and gatekeep out here from the west, but Benjamin again! Once again, that Sentinel absolutely crucial. KSU, they had traded for this nut out here in Cenote, and at least gets them some kind of coverage. Rect Emporium there on the bridge will also be trying to sniff out the remnants of these rotators. Tamu, looking at this landing position, say goodbye.
Holding on to the high ground. Tamu do have to keep an eye out behind them, but they've just decided, you know what? The best way to make sure that we have peace of mind is to clean up a squad, get ourselves 3 KP, and I didn't see anyone pushing them either, so this should be a pretty clean reset for Tamu.
Something that we didn't get to talk about is the fact that Tamu has actually laid complete control of this entire height of Barometer, clearing it out in that mid-game here. There's not a single team that's playing a corner here, which gives them more than safety, but for Maryville, they want to get involved. They think those shots mean access.
Yeah, let's hope that Tamu actually took the reset. Right now, it looks like things are going pretty well. The P2020s do show up in the kill feed, which is quite nice. Oklahoma start to make their way in as well, so perhaps we're going to see a little bit of the low ground contested pair. Well, I mean, what was with this undue flame on pair earlier?
I got to harass my man, all right? The only way to get good shots out of this roster is to bully them aggressively until they feel shame. So, I will continue.
It seems to have worked. You're coaching, I mean, who can talk ill of it?
Oklahoma here making a great rotation for Center Pie or Southern Miss. I do want to highlight as a absolutely dominant team, do clean up some coverage from a distance. Did not leave the cover, or at least the cover of height there. I believe actually might have, my apologies, sent onto height to steal away the height. Yeah, the height.
Yes, I also am a lover of height. KSU Apex, unfortunately not having any. This has been a weird exodus for them from the little nut building that they had before. But all things considered, I don't know if I hate this position. It's maybe a little uncomfortable for now, but they're so close to zone.
I'm surprised. You know, this is something that could have been punished here, but instead sets themselves up with one of the better walk-ins. The majority of our Barometer area is going to see its exodus here in the next few minutes, and for so many of these teams that are competing out on that eastern side, they're going to have to make some big moves to come out on top. You can see Tamu already starting to position for coverage here. Zwifty watching that backside, knowing that they've got a lot of presence there. Looks like USM, though, in that kill feed. Pius, Carlin already down. Oklahoma, not long for this world.
Yeah, that's going to be a rough exit from them, but they didn't really get to play zone like we had expected them to, instead being forced into an edge play style, and now, unfortunately, forced right underneath Texas A&M, who have one of the best spots in the lobby. I'm looking over at Davenport as well, with a really good building to play for this next zone, but once we get past next ring, I don't know. Those two squads are in very good positions. Davenport and Texas A&M, they could really collect some KP here.
Meanwhile, the Mavericks making their move straight into this building. They're going to have to share this space for now. Love this setup from Gravity. We've seen this time in, time out. They get a position, heart of zone, lay control with the Catalyst, and then everyone else forced to come to them. Have to be careful, though. Every single altar trying to play around that tactical is, looks like Minnesota tried to decide which door to cover.
Yeah, this is a really interesting thing to note for Minnesota as well. They now have maybe not as active of a spot in zone as Davenport, who are above them, but they've got Catalyst for an end zone that looks like it's going to have a lot of open ground. Catalyst may be the very thing that wins you a game if you use the ult right.
At least for now, they are very quiet to their position. They've had some weaknesses earlier in this split, really understanding the exterior of the games around them here. For USM, they're no slouch to keeping the pace going. Arizona taking advantage of the distraction. I like this from Speed Demon. Gravity following through it. While there is a cat on that other side, they're more likely to blow this one up.
Nice name's going to follow in here as well. Taking out one, taking out two, actually, as Davenport explode inside this building, and Minnesota State take the high ground, still have the Catalyst as well. So huge tool for the late game and an even better position than they had moments ago.
Meanwhile, for KSU, we talked about this long coverage they have. It actually allows them to reap some rewards against that aggressive USM roster, who, by the way, we haven't gotten to see a lot during this game, and that's to no fault of anybody. It is just the fact that they have so much KP that they've managed to absorb that even going out early here should be fine for them. Say goodbye to U of H. Sir Garson's... yeah, bye, UH.
He lived for so long.
I love Collegiate Dia. It is so great.
Sometimes you just got to Ash Portal into the middle of everything. You know, it's just, it happens. It happens.
Watch out on Oklahoma here. Interceder is not a known quantity. TAMU could get their butts blown out if they are not respecting their backside. Granted, I don't even think they know.
That sentence structure, I just can't. I can't even deal with it. Texas A&M do know what they can deal with, though. That's KSU pushing with them. They've dropped down with the P2020. Still do open things up in a huge way for the team. The Texas A&M have to clean this up. Pair and P2020s making good work, and this should be the end of KSU. I'm noticing there wasn't any push up here from the solo from Oklahoma. Texas A&M, a good spot, got better.
This is tough, though. They do miss out on a lot of coverage from height. This building's still very, very strong, even if shared for these opposing squads. Interceder taking their sweet time. Massive congratulations to out-surviving so much of this lobby. It's actually, you take advantage of the bright light and you become a shadow underneath Texas A&M, and you just keep trying to play for placement.
See when Oklahoma ends up going out. I'm just watching the kill feed, waiting for somebody to notice this solo, but even Minnesota State, who have a pretty clear sight line, aren't able to do it. Minnesota State sharing a building right now.
I might be wrong. I think Interceder might be behind a box that's soon to be negligible.
Yeah. I suspect so. I mean, we've only got a few seconds left on this zone. I'm still looking at this game and thinking that it should be TAMU who come out on top. Yes, their high ground isn't as good as it was before, but they don't have to move that far. If they've got the right amount of ultimate accelerants as well, Newcastle Wall could be available. The big game changer here has to be Catalyst Wall from Gravity. And actually, now looking at CSUF, it might be Aloe as well who's able to change the game with something like that.
Splitting the zone will be huge here between Gravity and Aloe. We'll see if they're able to play around it. Evacs out early. I do want to point out that TAMU's going to lose this position fairly quickly, and that forces...
They give it up.
Fiddle to make this move aggressively underneath. They're going to hope that a fight breaks out here.
This changes a lot. There's not nearly as much space for TAMU to play with anymore. They could easily get sent. Minnesota State doing some sending out their own, though. Could beat up to the high ground. Don't want to let two Catalysts exist in the lobby. There's only room for one. Speed Demon jumps up the roof, can't quite finish the fight, and needs to find two reses as the zone is closing in. Accidentally goes for the finisher, and Speed Demon, very unlikely to be able to recover the whole team, but he's going to go for it anyway, even with TAMU waiting below.
This is tough here. They're not going to get much wheels off this. Tamu lurks within the wings. Just Speed Demon left alive, and I can't believe I already get to say this. Texas A&M, your winners of Game 1.
That was a wild. I mean, we talked the Catalyst walls up to death. I didn't see any of them in that end zone because we all decided to fight on the same building, and Tamu were just beneath going, I guess.
Time to move.
I guess. Yeah.
One critical thing there, shout out to the Mavericks. Down below, they have a great vert right up on top that allows them to go for this initial push, and sadly it just wasn't super clean. I think had they actually dominated, cleaned up CSUF Blue, I don't think Tamu would have gotten as quick of a response there. Instead, both rosters completely decimated in the end, and it was really just a simple walk for Tamu to come up there and seal the deal. Any cleaner, and I think the Mavericks still, like you said earlier, would have been in such a good position to capitalize and punish the disparity.
Yeah, I mean, two good vertical pushes, and while that last one, like you said, wasn't maybe as clean as they would have liked, it should still get them pretty far up in the leaderboards. Those leaderboards, by the way, are what we'll check out when we return from a quick break with Game 2.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh! What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No, not in front of you. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing. On the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it. Help!
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. This is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Split 2 College Apex Finals. My name is Dia, and I'm still joined by Zephyr. I wasn't able to shake him off in the break, and Zephyr, I think we'll be sticking this one out, especially because of the you can't make a sad face like that. It really breaks my heart because of the huge victory that you managed to achieve, specifically your squad managed to achieve, and I'm sure you'll congratulate them for later in game number 1.
I already congratulated them. I sent them a beautiful message. It just said, "Great job." It did not say that.
Did you tell Perry did a good job?
I actually did. That's really funny. Yeah, I said you did a really good job that game. Either way, a big congratulations to Texas A&M for representing in the game 1 there, followed not far behind the likes of Minnesota State and CSUF Blue in our final matchup. A fantastic play deep within the zone that ultimately allowed Texas A&M to walk in and clean things up very nicely there, but definitely some star hitters to at least kick off Collegiate Apex.
Yeah, I mean, I was a really big fan of the way that Minnesota State played that. And I know we talked about their end push maybe not being as clean as it could have possibly been, but the reality is that it's a team that was playing zone, but was also making plays to actually go for the win of the game and not just avoid losing, avoid dropping out, but instead get aggressive to try and find first place. Second place isn't going to be bad. Overall, they managed to get themselves 15 points during that first game. So
on their best foot forward. Still waiting to see some of our star-studded players at least get their chance to shine. I want to make a big shout out to KSU. We were kind of in the middle of figuring out what was the strength of this roster going to look like today, and it's already kicking off so nicely for them. A really nice prime position into zone, and I'll tell you what, one of the best teams at figuring out how to make it to that zone. I know you saw them from edge, right? That doesn't highlight the full KSU picture. This is a team that has won more collegiate Apex than any other roster out there, and you can see why very quickly in that last game. If it wasn't for their defeat against Texas A&M, they would have been playing from the exact same position there and potentially in a driver's seat for a win as well. That's terrifying because they can get to 50, Dia.
yeah, I mean, we definitely have a lot of teams that, given how they played during the regular season, I wouldn't even be surprised to see them win, and not just win, but in convincing fashion today. One of the teams that I wanted to call out as being, I think, particularly impressive during the mid game, and maybe had a bit of a fall off, with CSUDH, who were playing over by Pylon. I was really impressed by Sleepy and the charge rifle, and that's just a standout moment. It's just one glimpse that we got of the team before they ultimately weren't able to rotate into Barometer. And this is one of those things that it is going to bite some teams. You can be doing really well in the mid game and then just get cut off by a bad rotation, a composition that's not prepared for it, whatever it is. And so looking into game 2, I do wonder whether we'll see change-ups of composition or even if the zone will start to make things just a little bit easier for a diverse set of teams.
Yeah, something you're going to see here as we get a little deep take at those scores is just these teams adapting to a different, at least, coverage here when we talk about the changes of these zones and how collegiate as a whole really plays around it. Minnesota State, Southern Miss, there you can see right behind Texas A&M, 15 and 12 respectively. And yes, KSU, they do sneak on in at 11.
You know, I really enjoyed watching the first game. I do want to say the other thing that I've really enjoyed about today so far has been the awesome ad videos that we get between. I don't know if you saw the ad for Wenzel's Farm Snack,
no.
but it's really, really funny. They are one of the sponsors that make today's games possible, so a really quick thank you to Wenzel's Farm Snacks. You can fuel your game with them. That's just sticks, no mess, no distractions. They're bold, protein-packed flavor that'll keep you locked in, whether you're grinding ranked, maybe hoping to win a Split 2 finals, whatever it is, Wenzel's keeps you powered up. Grab a stick, stay in the game, crush the competition. That is Wenzel's Farm, who have made today's games possible.
This is coming from the heart, by the way. I am a man of that kind of passion, Dia. Okay.
Are you telling me? Are you telling? I don't know what that means.
Interpret. You're a communicator.
Are you telling me you like Wenzel's Farm Snacks?
Yeah.
Okay. A man of that kind of passion is actually such a poetic way of saying that. It's completely unnecessary, but it's one of the reasons I love you.
Well, I'll tell you what. No big deal. It's something you'll continue to grow and learn alongside me as we figure out collegiate as a whole. And it'll be done with farm snacks all along the way. Oh, big quick aside, want to apologize so deeply to MVNU. They are Mount Vernon. My brain sometimes sees it as MNSU, which is the acronym for Minnesota. I know you guys, I love Mount Vernon with all my heart. I'm a big Washington stan, so there you go. There's your deep bottom of the heart Zephyr apology. I will never make the mistake again, or else you can find me at many addresses and, I don't know, deathbox it, you know?
That's in Minecraft, bro. In Minecraft, it's
in Minecraft.
MVNU actually really impressively on the verge of getting their second kill of the tournament. Now, they did pick one up in almost exactly the same way by laying wait during game one. They're doing exactly the same thing here, picking on SVC, who are also a duo. And it's working out for them. I think they likely get this kill. Although Killanut may be able to escape. I'm not sold on it.
I might be sold on that grav cannon. That's the sound of scare right there, and we'll see if it actually ends up going any which way. Queen's Vale, though, not a roster we've had a lot to discuss about, at least in our first game. Now, really getting involved, and this should be a great setup for them as this team. They are the full 3-piece squad compared to anyone in the Southeast.
Dude, E-Gunner, though, he could change the game. One drop down, and all of a sudden the numbers are evened up.
Oh my gosh.
Loba, but this is a good Ash portal to just punish Flight, who should have a portal of their own, but doesn't get the chance to use it. It's a quick drop down from Queen Gales. It's going to secure them 1 KP, and MVNU's aggression gets the better of them.
There you go, Queen's Gale. Sadly, not on the Gibraltar today thus far. I was so excited for you to see that, Dia. They have been playing Gibby all split long. This is the first time they've switched it up, or one of the very few times they've switched it up, and it is always a pleasure to see. For now, Minnesota State, definitely one of the head of our endgame. Speed Demon, maybe to potentially play around this crypto, get some access. They've already got the damage down when we talk about Ottawa.
One of the most conservative compositional squads that we've seen, who at the same time managed to get really aggressive in-game. Nothing encapsulating that more than right now as Minnesota currently stand in command center with, I mean, it's a very calm POI most of the time, and yet they've managed to pick a fight with Ottawa, who are heading for the hills, moving down a little further south where the zone does appear to pull us. So that is something that Minnesota will likely follow, as will many squads moving down from the north a little bit further towards the south. I wouldn't suspect we're going so far south as Barometer this time, but he's still got a ways to go.
Well, time to go. Ottawa, I do want to at least pay some good respects. They had a very nice start to the last game, picked up some kills upon the edge, just weren't able to convert rotation into zone here. Does go to show, though, they've got the snuff and stuff to potentially find their way against any one of these other rosters here and could potentially lead for an end game at any point. Shoutouts to Ben Chen with the Sentinel. They might be finding their way towards Roland sometime soon here.
Southern Miss gonna wipe out our squad. That's MVNU, our first squad to be eliminated in game 2. As a duo, didn't make it very far, but they keep going for the plays. I respect that.
Man, North Park just can't catch a break here. The Pizza Men gonna be at least able to get the reset off on this one, as Tattoo is now back up and ready to play, taking those zips as KSU. Dude, you'll love this. They made some changes. They're always here to have a good time. My man Jose misplays on that Vantage, and I think it will continue to radically change every single game. They love to spin the wheel on their legends.
I mean, I really like somebody being willing to whip out the Vantage, especially if you want to get aggressive in the mid-game. Lifeline and Pathfinder with it as well make for a very mobile squad, but KSU surprisingly don't continue pushing. I think it's the right strategic move. I'm just surprised that when you have the amount of confidence to do this, you're just also not sending it straight into North Park and Command Center.
Yeah, they've got other plans ahead here. Granted, talk about Command Center. That's not the line of sight you want to put a Vantage on. Fair game.
Oklahoma to be pressured here as they've lost Pius. Banner recovery still makes things possible, as you've got Carlon and Interceder who have a lot of survivability on Wraith and Ash to be able to get out of sticky situations. Queen Gales, though, on the high ground, definitely a team to look out for. Early rotated here, don't have a long way to go during the next zone, have an Ash portal that we already know they can make use of, and I'm seeing an Ultra here as well, so the mobility on this squad for Queen Gales is really peak.
Now they're about to learn right there that they've got to make some transitions. Carlon taking the wide stance on that corner there. Eman, you know, unable to capitalize in the moment for OU. Going to now go for full set revives here. You can see Minnesota out towards the height as autoloader engaged. We're going.
The ballistic straight into Ash portal. That is big for Queen Gales. Picks the kill and just not really bother with trying to push the rest of the squad until they secure it, especially as we go.
Oh yeah.
Now let's see what Yaman's able to do. Paya's already chunked out before he hits the floor. Yaman cleans up the kill with the help of Schmalz, and Queen Gales maybe sending another squad out of the lobby.
That is hot there. Yeah, man, I apologize for any kind of criticisms I was given here for Queen's Gale. They now get to transition to some very, very strong double KP, make their way back to height for this next transition. You know what, Dia? I didn't get to talk about it very much. Queen's Gale, super, super good at making it to end games. They sneak their way in quite a bit.
I mean, they got a really fantastic move there. I love the highlighting of the fact that Queen's Gales are now going to have to fight up against Southern Miss on the rotation, and the Ash Ballistic, then Alter combo for the recovery served them really well, but Alter's not going to get nearly as much value when you have to move into the zone. It's more when you have to come back to where you were, and that's not what Queen's Gales will have to do.
No. University of Ottawa, we've really gotten a chance to check them out these last few games. Now, one of the first more direct fights they are going to attempt to take here. That castle wall preventing some of the early access we saw from Faustus, as well as this early nade from Loon. It's going to make this hard to split the difference, but that's timing. Tactical down on the Ash. You can push through here now.
Do wonder whether they actually go for it. Some conservative play. Holding a grip on the lobby, even as we get some kills. I'm noticing Tamu show up in the kill feed up against misplays as well. So, looks like KSU could be in a bit of trouble.
KSU gone here. That is the second time Tamu has found them. This time around, much further to the north, catching them on their rotate, really making a name for themselves here on edge today. University of Ottawa still trying to figure this one out piece by piece. They do have that armor differential, and maybe some damage down will split the difference, but time's a ticking here. The more noise you make, and the worse a push like that, you're just opening the door for more mistakes, like this follow through from Ben Chen, but he can't land the Eva.
That was so close, too. The health bar is incredibly low. North Park still going to come out on top of that as University of Ottawa do go down. 13 squads left, and North Park seem to have a pretty clean reset. Nobody in the area, and a pretty nice jump down onto the low ground as well. The same cannot be said, however, for Queen Gales, who got taken out by Southern Miss. The positioning proactively by Southern Miss ended up being just enough to take out Queen Gales.
Yeah. Super, super good. We catch just the tail end of that, but no kind of rotation for them was one that was to be rewarded here. USM now going to be one of the sole remaining teams to make this successful rotate out from the south, play into Launchpad with so much control of the height and the verticality that exists out here. This is pretty much the only place that it does. I worry for Winthrop could be that next target on their back. USM loves to rack them up.
There'll be a moment of calm in Launchpad. Tough end game as well, and one where we can still see Catalyst get a lot of value, and the more that I say that, especially since we're doing it the second game in a row, I kind of feel like that may just be something that I continually have to say on Storm Point, where there is a lot of open space. I sort of thought last game, hey, maybe it's unique to Barometer, and now that I'm seeing the next game, I'm going, you know what, maybe it's not that unique. Maybe it is just a Storm Point thing. The Catalyst is always going to be such high value here.
It's a shame we didn't get to see it last game, but I guarantee you, as we make our way through the remnants of today, or even just this match, you know what, we can hope for some action in this match. We will get to see that one shine there. We take a look at that zone. Still long rotations ahead for the majority of our edge playing teams. The heart of Launchpad. I do want to point out Sleep King and crew there playing staking control to the height. That's going to be super important, as we will see OU, I believe, break on through here. Not OU, my apologies. Doing my best.
It's a lot to keep track of. We got people
Maryville,
all around the world
sorry.
playing today. Maryville have been, yeah, like you said. They've got a nice position. We'll get to check in with them a little bit later. Right now, Tamu are sort of forcing us to talk about them as they get really aggressive. Remember, we just saw a fight kick off here earlier. There was a full reset, and even that does not seem like enough to hold off Tamu.
No, just one down, though. Looking for more resets than they are action, trying to play around the stairwell. Dramatic irony as they try to spell out the remnants here of Tattoo on the outskirts. Not going to be able to hold this one. A couple of P220s seal the deal. The rest of North have already made their way out. I believe just the remaining member now down below.
I do wonder if North Park will be able to get the full res. There are some crafters left here as well, I think. I'm looking around the map. There we go. We got at least one on the edge, but North Park pretty far away from it. Rollins is a solo coming in from the north as well, so possible that North Park and Rollins could meet a little bit later on. Texas A&M going to sit up on the high ground right now, overlooking Launchpad, seeing what they want to do. Spider Cave's also available rotation for them.
Bit tougher there, though, I will say. They do know they've got complete control now, taking away North Park from the equation. Minnesota very clearly on this kind of coverage with SVC Gold out there towards the east. This could be a tough one. I assume this one's going to keep pulling more towards that southern side of the North Pad area where you do get that big disparity in control when we talk about especially USM. Watch USM this game. It's going to be potentially a big one.
Minnesota State also actually could...
Woo!
Wide open. Nice shot by Gravity. And that actually kicks off a fight on the low ground. Doesn't even have to go for the push. You've got a KP in the bag if you're able to just let this happen.
There you go. That's your answer. That's how you start it off. Texas A&M, they're going to be the ones to take advantage of some of this early pressure. Looking out below and at least starting off, there's Swifty with one. Some heals for now. They'll wait before they breach on through. This is as chaotic as it gets for this roster. Now, sharing space with just about area. They know they've got some pressure on height there.
Noticing it's a much more aggressive game from Texas A&M than the first game that they won, where it was a little more zone focused. This time, by necessity, Tamu taking fights, taking risks, and we haven't seen one really bite them just yet, but fighting up on the height could very easily turn into one, especially with a lot of other squads watching. Kraber in the hands of Fiddle Dude lets them open up a fight really well by getting an initial unanswerable knock. Are we portaling? Are we portaling out of here?
Interesting. Prioritizing that further rotate to zone puts them in the heart of toe tickling Toady. Sadly, no toes to tickle there, only but the death box.
That's rough. That is a tough way to go down. Texas A&M reset. The ult cells being dropped this early as well.
Oh gosh.
They're going to make another quick rotation, but that could get very, very complicated as they're already getting rotated. Unfortunately, Minnesota State helping to cover this.
Couple of verts. Maybe it's going to help them out on this one. Arcstar's going a bit wide there for Texas A&M. The overlook could be very bad. The only advantage they got, double perps to the Reds. The Blues here, going to make this so hard to survive.
How are Tamu not getting shot in the back right now? Minnesota were just looking in this direction, and yet Texas A&M get away with only one knock. Pairs on the reset. I'm not seeing other folks push them, and Minnesota State, too afraid to cross the open ground as well, are just going to let this reset happen. Tamu picking up even more kills. Remember, they had 26 points coming into this game. They're more than halfway to match point. We've seen them wipe out several squads so far.
It's very, very good there, but I will say Minnesota, they've got themselves a heart in zone, so I can at least understand maybe some of the decisions. This is a big move here. Now up to height, straight on to Schmalz. Jay-Z Striker, that's a different roster.
This battle for the roof is completely unhinged. Texas A&M are going to lose one permanently, and we're going to say goodbye to the roster as a whole with a huge Skynade from Dallas. That's CSULB going down as well. Minnesota State holding on to the building, holding on to their lives as this building very quickly became the focus of everyone, and they were able to somehow weather the storm.
Meanwhile, Winthrop down below here, and of course, as we discussed, USM in this big driver's seat up on that height there. They're going to have so much space to play from what I can only assume is Soul Stake in control. Diva Dell. Not quite a diva right now, keeping it quite tame down below. Doesn't want to make a statement anytime soon.
Southern Miss played pretty well so far. I'm thinking specifically of Talus. You can actually see him off in the distance. His kills shut down the winners of game one. Winthrop looking straight at him though. Know that you do have to actually make your way into the zone using the Wraith Portal to do it. Well,
this is
already
so
at
risky.
half HP, this is not looking good. We might see a knock, and we do. The portal goes essentially nowhere. Southern Miss collect that kill, and now you've got nowhere to go.
And now, I might be wrong, but I do believe there is one roster here behind USM. Big moves from Winthrop straight to the tree line. Southern Miss are more than happy to take some shots alongside USM there. That'll send Winthrop home as that duo, as there's not much more for them to cover out here. Diva Dell also picked up from Thalos. They continue to rack them up, Dia.
I mean, Southern Miss is playing this game exceptionally, and part of that is the positioning, part of that is the execution. And as it comes down to this fight, we got ballistic ults popped, Bangalore in smoke. Mankipu actually goes out on the flank, gets tethered, but doesn't get pushed. Instead, it's a defensive catalyst wall that gets thrown out, and Southern Miss have absolutely no resistance as they swing on this last squad. Minnesota State gonna go down. Southern Miss all three up, and they've just got a single solo between them and victory. Sliding around here, Thalos is going to collect one kill, and now it is just Might Guy Fan, who off on this hill is gonna be taken down, serving Southern Miss the second win of the night.
A huge dub there for USM. We called it out early, especially with their height to play around. It catered further towards the east of this zone, but they still managed to lay complete control. I want to make a huge shout out to SVC Gold there at the end. They were very close up towards the side this entire game next to Southern Miss. And instead of doing what would arguably would be a very common scenario where they get caught out, spotted, and potentially thirsted by USM, especially knowing that they are a duo, they play that super, super small, and they garnered themselves 9 whole points there. I don't know if they catered to any extra KP after what was their early tussle when we talk about Mount Vernon, but the transition, you can't argue with it, Dia.
No, I mean, I think they did really well. And like you're talking about, it's recognizing when you have to get aggressive, when you have to find some KP, and when you have to just not really worry about it. I mean, I'd even extend similar compliments to Southern Miss, who did have a more active game, but in the same way, played their position really well. They didn't get aggressive on the building when everyone else was. They didn't try and send themselves into a fight. You recognize what your position's able to do, you play for it, and it ends up getting you that much closer to match point. Now, that is our second game on Storm Point. We have one more after this before we transition on to World's Edge. The last chance, if you are a Storm Point team, if you are playing these positions really well, to secure yourself a spot to maybe win as we move into the next couple of games. We are going to take a short break before we come back with game number 3.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to us. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Ah, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh! What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't? What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me.
Get in there.
No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up. He's breathing. Other side. Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it. Help!
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah,
Hey, do you the meat stick?
yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Hey, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
Welcome back to Split 2 Finals here in College Apex. That's still Zephyr. I am still Adia, but the standings keep on evolving. The games keep on getting better, and Southern Miss have just walked away with a win on Storm Point. We've got one more coming up, Zephyr. Voguing Zephyr, tell us what the leaderboards bring us.
I'll tell you what, the leaderboards bring us chaos. Chaos not in what existed last game, but what lies ahead for so many of these teams here. For USM, they have just turned the competition on its head in a dime. Just to confirm, game 2 alone, Southern Miss walk away with 22 kills. 22 kills along their win. Dia, do the math.
I mean, if you actually want me to do it live, you add 12, just so that everybody knows first place is 12 points. So, like, you add 12 points to 22. What I want to note specifically about this is that simple addition rockets them past
Oh my gosh.
from in game 1 from Tamu. This is now a squad with 45 total points. I cannot believe that 30 of them are kills. If you want some quick math, that's 2/3 of their points coming from kills.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane here. They are now 5 points away from successfully putting themselves into a position of match point eligibility. 5 points from 50. 12 sitting here across from Texas A&M. Not far behind them exists Minnesota State. Also happily within that 23-point range. All very, very much accumulatable in one game alone. The rest of the lobby, though, Dia, they've got a ways to go.
And a lot of this really comes down to just looking at the names that are showing up here. Good actual execution, good game plan, but a failure to pivot that into the more challenging parts of the game when you're not set up off of a play that you just made. I'm thinking specifically of what we saw from Queen's Gales in game number 2 and from CSUDH in game number 1. These two squads really standing out as teams that have a lot of potential, that are doing a lot of the right things, but failed to transition that into a successful endgame like we're seeing those top 10 teams be able to do.
Well, for the remnants of this lobby, they've still got time on the board. No one has hit match point eligibility yet here, albeit, Dia, this is likely the last game that you have that safety warranted. Something I do want to point out, though, to the fans at home or to anyone who hasn't watched Match Point. Granted, this is really, really hard to do, especially against a team like USM. But once teams know that you are on Match Point, they're more than likely going to attempt to thwart your efforts to find that final win if they sniff out that it is you.
And even now, looking at Texas A&M, I think on paper we're saying this squad should be able to make the push, get themselves the 12 points, because they've done more than that over the past couple of games. But 12 points can be surprisingly difficult to come by, especially when Southern Miss only have to accrue 5, can play a lot safer. We've seen teams fall out in 20th, in 19th, whatever it is, just because their nerves get the better of them, especially as they approach match point. They're not quite able to clutch things out for a little too long. So keep your eyes on Southern Miss and Texas A&M, because even though they're in the lead, they could still drop the ball, and we've got to see them perform all the way through the day.
I do want to confirm there on the left, 3rd and 4th, KSU, Apex, Minnesota State switch those around. Minnesota at 27, KSU 13, respectively. The rest looks to be correct as quickly as I was to spell that out. I am worried for Minnesota State. They need arguably the largest jump here within this next game or two, a 23-point standard that they're going to have to make up, which for this roster, getting to zone, definitely super big for them. It's the KP that they are a bit delayed on at times here, especially when they are so critical about playing for these heart of zone positions. We got a real big taste of that over towards Launchpad last time around.
Yeah, I love the way that they're playing. It's just like you said, the kills are the real thing that's differentiating them. And I think that in a professional setting, like we were talking about earlier, when you're getting into these dialed-in end games, Minnesota State are actually doing really well. They have great reads on how to win a game, or at least how to play your position in a way that opens you to win a game. I think the problem is that up until then, there are other teams that are just better at punishing mistakes from other squads. And actually, we might see University of Ottawa do just that now.
They've taken advantage of this big rotate out of Command Center now, 2 to 3 games in a row, and I think they've lost the opportunity just a bit here, now giving themselves away. Lord Betty unable to find some really critical shots there. This separation on that CSUDH roster could, or not CSUDH, CSULB. My apologies. Or no, man.
CS. No, I think it is CSUD. Yeah, it is CSUDH.
There's 4 CSU. There's 4 CSUs.
Dude, there are so many. There are so many. It's okay. Every once in a while, it's gonna happen.
All right. Either way, it is going to be the critical leave from them. Sadly for Ottawa, gave themselves away. Meanwhile, different things to be happening here. CSULB taking advantage of the opportunity to get this initial knock on Oklahoma, who, albeit they led coming out of playoffs, have had some real struggles getting the engine going this morning.
I mean, I think you grab cannon here. It's kind of tough. You could slide down the hill, but I'm here in the grab cannon. I see Interceder. Surprisingly, we do actually have a few G7 shots landing. This should be as simple as a craft and continue, because we're not going to get a whole lot more knocks. Matter Baby thinking about knocking here with the charge rifle, but I'm not seeing those connect.
Yeah, distance far in a way there with the 2x4. Not going to matter much here, baby. Switching that one over to the Sentinel. You know, if the drop-off's a bit tough, yeah, make some work. You get the guaranteed 6S on the craft there, so just the shots they need, but not quite the movement on the other side they were looking to see.
I really like that with Ballistic, you've chosen to go with the Rampage as well. Yeah, it is a matter of taste, although Rampage is one of the better weapons you can throw in a sling. Just because you get the instant rev when you pop ult, can make a lot of damage happen very quickly, and is very surprising when all of a sudden Ballistic rolls up to your door and takes it down, even if your Catalyst is not going to save you.
Did you hear that, Zwifty? That's why we put it in the sling sometimes. I've now been reaffirmed by a professional. It looks like...
CSUDH.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was just going to say, they've made the farthest rotation away from this now. After being shot out and away from Stormcatcher, and now present here as far as Launchpad, Dia.
They just seem completely unbothered. Like, if they can't hold on to a spot, they're not going to fight you
Wow.
for it. They're just going to move on. I'm really surprised to see them go as far south as they did, though, given that so many other teams have the read on a rotation that will ultimately pull us up north towards Cascade. Keeping my eyes on KSU, who have already secured a fantastic spot in zone. I mean, this could be a game where KSU jump up the leaderboards and put themselves in a match point conversation.
I'd be expecting it there. Really, really good coverage on that initial rotate in from UH White. Gives them first knocks to be found. Toe tickling Toady and Diabini covering the interior there as now
I have to
Tia.
get a backstory on this toe tickling.
Toady, I don't know if you're listening. You were in Twitch chat a second ago. Maybe you can explain this one to Dia and to me as well, because I don't quite.
Yeah, we can wait till they either win or die, and then ask, and maybe Toady will be summoned.
Okay. Well, there's going to be no death this time around. Great coverage in zone will at least allow them to persist all the way into that zone 4 when we talk about Cascades. It's a harder building to hold, especially with that exterior door out towards the center. But hey, cat and coverage, one of the best things you could possibly do for the pull of this zone. KSU now getting a bit more involved. Divadel and JP pulling back towards building themselves.
Yeah, that's a tough spot for Rollins to be in. But Divadel takes the zip line up. So surprised to see him knocked here. That is crazy. And we get the altar portal right back in. JP takes the exact same risk, but does not come out of it nearly as well. So that's going to be Rollins now missing a member. It's SVC Gold actually go down entirely meanwhile.
Taken out from the edge there. That's Ben Chen of Ottawa. We did see all those teams trailing deep towards the southeast, and that confirms it all but the same as they continue to look for rotates. KSU unable to really go for a deeper send on this one. Instead, going to try to go for alternative rotates across this rock here to give them coverage as they search for height. Have to be super careful. Minnesota, once again, was playing the exterior of Command Center and can get involved if you are not respecting it. Plays with the sniper's mark. I don't think we're going to get another chance.
Newcastle-sized bullet, bro. Playing against Vantage can be so cool. So difficult to work around, but seems like a lot of other teams have managed to make it work. Minnesota State actually playing on the high ground will likely have to contend with the Vantage sooner rather than later. But for right now, got another fight brewing. Nice shots with the charge rifle. Seeing that picked up a surprising amount today with the addition of the select fire. 101 to the face. Looks really good for Gravity.
Minnesota has been tame about some of these pushes here. Gravity, though, always a curious pressure when we talk about this charge rifle. I might have let KSU go for the push on this one, but Gravity's more than happy to try and keep the pressure on.
I was going to say I think he should have. It looks like North Park went down anyway, but I'm in the same boat as you where you almost want to stop shooting at KSU so that they finish your kills for you. Not going to happen this time around, but still good play by Minnesota State as ultimately KSU do the deed anyway. And Minnesota State get to move down onto where KSU just held.
Set up there. We'll see how they fare now back into rotation towards the building. Roland's also still very similarly in position. Every team has made their rotates, but Ottawa, CSULB, Oklahoma, and Mount Vernon, everyone who we talked about early who made these deeper dives towards the southeast, still are fighting for their way back into the fray. The only further teams that exist, Texas A&M and Queens Gale, likely to potentially finish each other off.
Rollins are finishing up some of the spider caves. Winthrop holding in a building down here as Davenport are going to have to push past them. A lot of squads likely going to rotate into Cascade over the next couple of minutes. Not going to happen just yet, but pretty darn soon. We're going to start seeing teams that unfortunately we'll have to fight on likely the exit of these buildings. I'd love to see Davenport actually take a bit of a risk and go for an aggressive portal elsewhere. Move your altar forward as Texas A&M getting aggressive as ever. Swiftly finding a full squad wipe here. That's Queen's Gales going down. Texas A&M reset on the edge of zone. Should be completely unchallenged.
A couple swaps there with Oklahoma, though, looking to cross the distance. We talked about 12. The immediately Interceder pressure down. Pear is wiped out. Pius looking at that, playing around the mobile shield. They might find another, but Pear full thirsted in the meanwhile.
Swifty comes around the back. Pius goes down. Carlin tries to get out with the Altar Portal and will do so. Do you follow Carlin? Do you just take out Interceder? We're about to see as Tamu are likely to res, but we've got another one cooking here for Carlin. That's as the zone moves in. This is zone 2, so Carlin cannot immediately stick it. Altar Portal going to expire as well, which may keep Tamu from following this up. But Interceder on the very edge of health, and I don't even know if you've got the meds for this journey.
It makes it definitely dire straits for both of these rosters here. Now, likely to contest against each other. Pius, though, being down is critical here. It's going to force a different rotate. The same can be said for Tamu. I believe they lost out, completely. There's that revive. They opted to take their time, play around a mobile res here to get, I believe it was Pear back entirely into the game.
Yeah, and at this point, you know, you've got a few death boxes here. There should be enough syringes, med kits, whatever, to get you at least into the south end of Jurassic. The question for Tamu, for Oklahoma, doesn't matter who you are. If you're coming from the south, has to be what is CSUDH going to do? Are they going to be able to put up a big fight? Because Oklahoma have just landed right next door as a duo.
Also, I do want to point out East Rotate is always available, albeit the more dangerous of choices. Playing from the East, though, albeit none of these teams know it, would set you up for that final end zone. Durango just already starting to apply some of that pressure, albeit some of it, of course, inside here at home. But it's going to make it very difficult for Oklahoma to make some good decisions. You got to wonder, do they have an evac anywhere? Maybe an alternative option for the rotate.
Yeah, I'm really curious what'll go down in the next couple of minutes, as that south end does look to be cooking the demise of a couple squads. Southern Miss, though, from up here in the north. Yes, they do encounter KSU. That is our only vantage in the lobby, but Southern Miss still have a fantastic place from which to play. And importantly, now that the zone has pivoted away from Cascade, their position has even gotten better. It's not just that they've got high ground, it's that they've got options for how they approach the next couple of zones. Ultimately, Last Ring isn't going to be pulling up towards them, but they can go through the Cascade side, they can go through the zipline side, and they've got high ground on so many squads while they do so.
They're going to pick the side with the most kills to be reaped here. Gallus on the other side, already laying stake in control to the pressure. Drop in a Thermite. Drop in the shots with the P2020s will seal the deal and send Minnesota State home here. We asked for big games. We asked for zone play, and instead, they're going to be looking for answers on World's Edge here.
Gallus nades are something special. Now, those last couple seconds made them look really good. Texas A&M looking good themselves. They take out E-Gunner. That is one of the duo we saw previously moving out of the southeastern side of the map, but Texas A&M still have got some trouble up ahead of them, still have to take a fight, while Oklahoma have yet to find a full res, but will be coming back up behind Texas A&M. Second time this game. Can they make a move this time?
Have to be so careful. They're already being pressured out so much. Sentinel in hand. This could be a good setup for Oklahoma to get some easy knocks. Pinging this one out, taking height here. 3, 2, 1. Shot and return, Salute fan! That's a blink and you miss it moment.
He showed his face for a half second. I had no idea. They turn around and watch this guy get obliterated. And now Fiddledude's going to follow up on this. Rest has already happened, but he can't extend too much further either, because you've still got those killer eyes aimed at you.
Sully is making the south side of zone incredibly hard to play today. Not something I would love to work into there. Not something I would have expected from CSULB, but man, oh man, now Texas A&M, they've got to be really careful. Swifty does get a return back, though. Solifoon does go down with the 30-30. Now they go for the full send here behind them on UH White. Knocked one. Have to be careful. You can make a bit too much noise. Swifty down. It's up to Pear to seal the deal, but your double knocks, you've got to get these reses back into action.
Do CSULB actually push this? Checking in on their perspective. They do not. This is a pretty critical misstep for CSULB. As we know from our perspective, this was 3 easy kills. But now, it's going to be that much harder as Tamu
Ports.
chance to full res. And Davenport start pressuring CSULB on top of that.
This is big. That forces CSULB to look away. Davenport, I'm still looking for an answer in terms of their setup. The top side here, not completely safe in this building, not a place of entry. You've got to find alternative real estate. Lower your prices, lower your expectations. Don't look for the pool. Instead, just look for the kitchen.
CSULB play small. They play in that kitchen. Davenport get one themselves. Southern Miss still approaching from the north side. Remember, we said this was the squad that was spoiled for choice. You can do anything they want. And Southern Miss still own high ground, but will have to contend with teams like Winthrop and CSUF that may encroach on their territory when just looking for a safe place to play.
Ottawa continuing this chain of aggression. You can see the lifeline ultimate down, abandoned immediately. Turn it for the Kraber, find the crack necessary. Bostis Festus, I can't believe Rex survives any bit of that.
Keeps swinging too. Faustus,
Woo!
knock and lightened, going to go down. No real trades here as he does make a shield swap, but it's one that honestly looks completely unchallenged. You, Ottawa, take very little damage on this rotation, on these kills, and it's KSU down to just 1 member. Sleep King, my goat, is going to go down. Our charge rifle master from game number 1 has had that title taken away, unfortunately, as Sully has very much picked up the marksman of game number 3.
Got to be super careful here. Now being pressured from double angles. Tamu are between tough spots here. Gonna have to drop the early Rolling Thunder. Already starting to pressure out now with nades. Don't know if that classifies. No, the wall does not seal the deal. Instead, Tamu have opted to rotate, mirror this position here.
I really like the aggressive portal. It cuts off a lot of sight lines on them, and he actually swings out, but could just get double angled. Yeah, that is a deadly mistake from your Catalyst. That's going to be finished off.
Really toying with the idea of coverage here. So much of this building is now completely safe, and they don't really have to worry about looking to make for plays. They've got all the time in the world to lay complete pressure, albeit there is a beast lurking and waiting here. USM, they haven't been forced out just yet, but they are going to continue now to pressure further and further. University of Ottawa down 1. Thalas making the moves, leaping in with the B-2020s. Already back with the portal, though. Has to respect.
Mankipu backs off. Honestly, Southern Miss, probably one of the safest squads out there right now, but even then, being dropped from here, losing a single member, could be your end. Alex so low, and somehow still alive as everybody else is being focused. CSUDH, unfortunately, going to go down. And that leaves us with just 8 squads left.
Have to be super careful here, but they've already done a lot of the damage to pressure these teams away. USM looking for their next rotate. Have to be respectful. Davenport on the outside. That kitchen not quite the place they wanted to be. Instead, they're going to be forced out of this roster. Winthrop, Alex, really, really impressive ratting for the rest of this game. Unable to be shot out and found out by USM. Keeps this one going.
I do wonder how long Alex will survive. Keep my eyes on the kill feed, where I actually just saw Fiddle Dude show up on the receiving end. So Tamu's low ground could be significantly challenged. I'm noticing Southern Miss have ultimate height right now, and that's a big shift in the course of the game.
Whoa.
Hasn't changed that much from the last ring, but being able to transition it into this one could be serving them another win. Now, it's important to note that even though Southern Miss have surpassed 50 points, it's happened within this game. So even if they win here, it will not end the tournament.
Gonna make an assumption as we take a look on the outskirts there. University of Ottawa likely wiping out Tamu to take this southern position. It is confirmed as we check in with the map. Now CSUF blue, the left. CSULB still inside the building, and Southern Miss up a bud. This pull going to be absolutely critical for the end game. We've seen teams win it from above the building before, like USM, but it is very, very tough, especially with the exterior. Always waiting to throw a wrench in your plans. Watch University of Ottawa.
Southern Miss did give up hype for a second. A little bit of utility even expended here as well, as Mankipu holds on to the high ground. you know at Southern Miss that one of your biggest problems is going to be CSULB on the inside, but it's really difficult to take this burr out of your shoe. I do wonder whether they'll actually finish the drop down and go for it as Thales continues to take more space. Southern Miss are playing very aggressively. They just can't forget about the roof.
Boy already down. Faustus and crew. Ottawa, like I said, they were going to be what dictates the pressure here. Faustus in early with the port, but still manages to secure it. That'll be it for Southern Miss as they are eliminated, but Ottawa pays the price for taking out the beast above. The rest of these teams climbing up.
CSULB make the move. They've lost a bit of health, but they've still got the autoloader engaged. They trip back into this building where they have been so difficult to dislodge so far, but now with one down, maybe somebody can finally finish them off. It's going to be another knock. Crimson Monkey takes out the second member of CSULB, leaving them with just one. Ash tries to escape, but CSUF jump in at the perfect moment. They are the last squad to arrive on the scene, and they are going to be the ones winning your last game of the first 3 on Storm Point.
It was almost dangerous too there. CSUF opting to potentially play towards the height of that building, not recognizing that CSULB were actually in a really nice position after cleaning up the remnants of University of Ottawa. Make the smart decision, drop and scatter there to get some better angles and really start to pressure CSUF there. So now, ultimately, CSUF, big winners of that last game, Dia, but what is more important than, well, the big question, match point eligibility?
Yeah, we got a lot of teams coming up on that. I think Southern Miss has to be the one that everyone's thinking of. Texas A&M also was in the conversation coming out of last game, and I don't think they made it, but it's going to be really close. I want to give some props out, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but CLCULV, I really liked watching them play this time. It was just like, they just couldn't be taken out of this building, and when they eventually did, yes, they died, but it cost a lot of squads their lives. Really impressive play from all of our squads on the last game of Storm Point. And now we're going to be transitioning over to World's Edge. So the game changes, but we keep going with the same scoreboard. So those teams that have moved themselves closer to match point are going to have a definite advantage as we enter the next 3 games in just a few minutes, as we'll take a short break.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days
Is a
ago.
dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to us. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Ah, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh! What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there.
going.
No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side. Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it. Help!
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah,
Hey, do you the meat stick?
yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Hey, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
Welcome back to the Split 2 Finals here in Collegiate Apex, or I should say College Apex, Zephyr. We have returned now to a slightly different place because we started over on Stormpoint and we're going over to World's Edge. Winds are a-shifting, but two things have stayed constant through Stormpoint, and I do wonder whether we'll see the same thing on World's Edge. Let's bring up the leaderboard, Zephyr, and talk about our two squads that are now match point eligible.
That's right, Southern Miss there. You got to check them out in the top 4 of that endgame. Texas A&M, all but the same in the top 6. Both of them push their medal and finish at 53 and 55 respectively after game 3 here. Now, what this means, let us reiterate for the billionth time. If Southern Miss win here, if Texas A&M win here, that is it. We are all set in stone. We do not go any further games. We crown our winner. And most importantly, I will say, we send whoever lands in the top 8 on their way to have a secured spot in our Collegiate Apex Legends Finals in early May. That is a big, big playing point for this game.
I mean, I'm laser focused on a team like Minnesota State right now. They're in 3rd place. They've been remarkably consistent. They've placed in the top 3 twice already. They haven't been able to close out a game. They are, in my mind, the team that is most likely to keep us going. And yet, Zephyr, those kill points, their lack of aggression has really cost them the opportunity to close out games.
Well, I'll tell you what, I am more interested to see where some of these other teams end up. KSU Apex. That's the big one for me. The rest of these other squads, this is tough straights for a lot of them. They're either made up of pieces, like when we talk about SVC Gold and a few other rosters, or they've just not been able to make for good transitions, especially on Stormpoint. So I will say, I think World's Edge, I know it hits at just such a crucial moment, but it really is going to stir the pot here today.
And looking at the two squads that you mentioned that are duos, it's SVC Gold and MVNU, sitting at Landslide and Harvester. in these games. So the center of the map not going to offer a lot of resistance, and that's just a fact. Like, we've seen these two teams play very well, but just as a duo, you're not going to be resisting a trio rotating through your POI. And so when we're looking at that being really impactful around Landslide and Harvester, I'm seeing teams like Texas A&M over at Siphon, teams like Davenport over at Staging, and teams like Queen's Gales over at Countdown being the big beneficiaries of having basically duos as neighbors.
Something I want to point out as we take a look at our other match point eligible team, Southern Miss Stacks. They are about as edge as it gets, only beaten by, I would say, Minnesota State coming out of West Skyhook there. A lot of our very powerful teams for Collegiate Apex today are going to be purposefully conditioned to play a more edge style rotate if they are not at their fastest speeds. And I mean, I can make comparisons to Pro League all day long. There is a delay when we talk about Collegiate Apex Legends that a lot of these teams take advantage of. And more importantly, as most of y'all who were spectating got to see, there's a lot of deep transitions outside of zone to try and chase teams, to try to accumulate some of those points here.
Big question for me. KSU running the Vantage? Because Vantage is fun. I'm happy they were doing it. On a technical level, it is better on Stormpoint than on World's Edge, so we could see a few shift ups. I'm still expecting to see a lot of Alter, which has been a really welcome addition to the split. The mid-season buffs have really changed up Alter's pick rate in a way that I'm enjoying, Zephyr.
Yeah, I think Alter, it's still a really weird legend I'm trying to feel. I think a lot of teams were very quick to jump on the pick the minute we saw that season change come through. And now they're kind of realizing that a lot of the other legend picks do offer some better strengths when we talk about, yes, both recovery as well as a lot of the engage tools that you can kind of work with when we start to talk about that Alter tactical there. Not quite, I'd say, meta dominant yet, but definitely something that is left to be seen here. I want to point out most notably Carlin on Oklahoma. That's going to be one of the bigger alters that we've seen here and there today, albeit he does make a couple of switches to the Wraith occasionally. That's going to be the one that I might peek into, as Oklahoma had some incredible strengths at the tail end of this split that just have not happened today, that I mean, we're still waiting to see.
I mean, yeah, they were definitely a team that I'd expected to do better today. Part of that has got to be a dial-up in the lobby. Everybody's really focused on the finals. Part of it can also come down to, your athletes have an off day. On the whole, Oklahoma are not performing extraordinarily poorly. It's compared to the standard that they set for themselves during the regular season that I'm seeing a lot of other teams, I would say, push past them pretty significantly today. So maybe on World's Edge that changes. Maybe that's the reset you need. Oklahoma is certainly a team to look at, but it is really going to come down to whether this is our last game or not. Because the teams that we've seen so far, I mean, they are dominant. They are in top threes. They are fragging out. They look unstoppable when they're on, and World's Edge has been in the competitive pool for a very long time, Zephyr. If you've been playing Apex for a while, you know how to solve World's Edge.
That is true. For so many of these teams with their practice, that is the thing to wonder about. We're going to play a little game here. I do want to at least mention that we are going for a full reset on a bit of a crash that gives us some times. Let's talk about the numbers thus far. Top 5 across the board, kills 15, 15, 14, 12, and 9 respectively. I don't think it takes any kind of guess from you to at least tell me which two teams that is.
I mean, it should be Southern Miss and Texas A&M. I would actually, it has to be Southern Miss who have most of them, right? Because they've gotten so many kills. But yeah, tell me.
Very close, very close. It isn't the case here. Thalas and Fiddle Dude tied for first with 15 respectively. The Ozin and Pair 14 and 12 off the later half. It then comes to this competition between Zwifty and Mankey. Zwifty just barely eeping things out to put Tamu ahead at 9 kills. Mankey sitting at 6. So, I mean, if we talk about the comparisons here between these two star-studded rosters, I mean, come on.
Yeah, they are really neck and neck. I wanted to actually give some kudos to Zwifty for last game. The clutch on the south end of Pylon, in large part due to the confidence that he had to swing out around the side. Pair, of course, also played really well. Unfortunately, got taken down first on the big Newcastle, but it was Zwifty's flank that really opened things up for the team in my eyes. And I mean, you may have been talking about the brain cell count maybe plummeting throughout the season, but it's looked good for Swifty today. Maybe one's all you need.
When you're playing roller, yes. there's not much more to say there. We'll hope that Texas A&M continues to find their strengths. The same for Southern Miss. The rest of our lobby, a bit of a mixed bag. Some highlights I do want to point out. Ottawa. Faustus Festus, number 6th in terms of damage as a whole, 3,700 there, and not too far out when we talk about the KP either, tied for 7th with Mankey as 6 as well. Has been a real leader for the University of Ottawa roster today, especially seeing them kind of expand across the map here and try to take advantage of some of those weaker rosters, or at least those that were out of position, and albeit it hasn't put them up that much higher in terms of the overall scoreboard. I mean, they're still within playable range. 23 points. A couple of decent good games could pass by us here where they maybe find themselves on match point as well.
Yeah, and part of this, because we've still got LCQ available, because we've got other ways to make it in to the grand finals in May, is also going to be some practice on match point, especially if you're a team that's currently sitting 9th, 10th, below that. This is now a game more about VOD review than anything else. Of course, you're still playing for the win. Of course, you're still playing your best game of Apex Legends, but you're also thinking actively about, how can we make the most textbook play here so that we can look back on it and go, how does our approach to the game need to shift when we get into a match point finals situation again? Because when you get to the peak of any tier of Apex Legends, it's always match point that's waiting for you.
Well, at least today, they're not ready for Zephyr Ball.
Oh god.
That's what I coined my new.
Did you read Calvin and Hobbes growing up? Is that where you're getting that?
No, I've read Calvin and Hobbes, but I've never heard of that.
Well, they obviously didn't call it Zephyr Ball. It was Calvin Ball. It was like his whole thing.
That's crazy. I had no idea, and I love it personally. It's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, for anybody born after 2000, sorry, that wasn't for you.
That was me. I'm born after
really?
2000. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, you are in college. Oh my god. That one's rough.
Chat, I'm not unk. I promise.
Oh god. Let's talk about the game. I'm missing feeling young, so let's talk about video games. Texas A&M currently finishing off their loot of Siphon. Have a northern rotate to hit. Looks like we could go up towards Monument. I don't have that second zone read yet though.
No, it's still fairly wide here, and the split regarding either one of these sides of zone is going to be pretty crucial. I am super interested to see how we see both Texas A&M and USM potentially adapt when we talk about play styles here. Typically, you kind of see teams become a little bit more pressure-oriented when we talk about the zone. That's not the case for USM or Texas A&M. They both love to trying to play around the edge to search for their KP to try and really pressure these squads out here. So,
I mean, I'm just going to straight up insider trading you here. What do you tell Texas A&M when they're on match point? How do you tell them to adapt their play style?
I don't tell them anything other than, don't. Right? Because the minute you change your playstyle, you leave access to the rest of this lobby to do more. Right? And you should run at these kids because they don't compare.
That's something University of Ottawa is certainly doing. Double Mozams and quick kills picked up around the outside of Frag. Does look good for them early on. It is a game of points for a lot of teams, and University of Ottawa absolutely included in that. UH White starting to make their way down into Geyser as well, where we had one of our duos landing earlier, so could find themselves a couple of kills here. More likely to find themselves a totally disengaged fight as MVN UJV are currently heading for the hills. E-Gunner, I'm just gonna say he lives because I kind of hope he does.
USM pull out and away from this, which is the first time I've actually seen them dissuaded from a fight. So already getting a little bit of an inkling regarding how they're beginning to start to play this one out. Newcastle, he's thick, he's big, he's just about a boulder. That plays to the benefit.
Actually, really impressive. Super underrated, like, not even strat, but like micro thing. If turning to face the wall feels terrifying, it actually does help you avoid vision more often than not. Like, it's probably not the difference maker there, but it could have been. Like, it's so close.
Hey, with most folks aiming at you, people are used to seeing the front of these legends. It's their backside that's the real power.
It is. It is. I always figure, you know, if I'm in the position where I'm ratting, me seeing them, not going to help. Like,
yeah, you say that, but there are some incredible players who can pull off some star-studded 1v3s for Texas A&M. They actually make their impacts against U of H super early here. It's up to Pair to get this roster back up to snuff. Fiddledude down early is a huge issue. The Law, the same to be said. Now pushing towards the mobile shield. Will find that additional knock. Garrison already back with the port. Was not what they wanted to see. Deep shots from the G7 means that TAMU, they've got to set themselves up now or potentially kiss that match point chance away.
using the Ash Portal to get out there was pretty rough. This is also a rough Ash Portal, I'm not going to lie to you. Fiddledude, lucky to be out and alive here. Pair, nearly not as lucky. Had to invest in Newcastle ult themselves, but Texas A&M do technically reposition to a much safer area. SVC Golden North Park, you cannot say the same of them. Both taken out, leaving us with 15 teams. That means points are starting to be accumulated via placement, and Texas A&M still stabilizing up on this hill. Should actually come out the better for it.
The minute damage is down, this man is a moving here. Scouting this one out ahead against U of H again here. Will force them back up the hill. Trying to see what kind of level of control there. Pair with that 30-30 sends Tiabini home here. Make it another with the Law. You wish you had the port to work with, but I worry for Texas A&M. They know they've got a roster towards their west here. This is a huge investment.
Fiddledude getting so much good value out of the G7 completely changed this game for Texas A&M. They're going to wipe out yet another player. UH White going to go down as well, so the pace of this game really accelerating, whether it be individual picks, whether it now be Texas A&M finishing off even more. The kills, the squad wipes, they are coming in fast and furious.
That's Oklahoma, if you didn't catch it. Meanwhile, for Davenport, they now get involved. We saw some of these later rotates to potentially happen coming off of Harvester here. We were worried about the impacts with TAMU. Instead, it's these two rosters getting involved, both to play for resets. And, I mean, it literally is like deja vu. The east side of this zone and the west side, the same kind of rhythm here now. Both rosters all back together. Curious to see how they might play into this one. Meanwhile, Minnesota State, University of Ottawa, some big heavy hitters looking to fight their way in zone soon here.
And taking a look at our two match point teams, Texas A&M currently sitting on the north end of Siphon, and it's Southern Miss on the south end of Siphon. University of Ottawa could cause some serious chaos here, and they do, with the help of the Sentinel, almost taking out a full member of Texas A&M, but Smoke helps them stabilize. Swifty still up on high ground. Pair gonna be dipping, and Swifty, even without full healing, is going to choose to make the escape. Where did Texas A&M go? Do they survive? It looks like the answer, at least for now, is yes.
Back into building there, caught with their pants down. They are able to put themselves back together. You gotta wonder how the loot is doing here. They were able to get a soft reset off of Oklahoma, but especially deep in the heart of this zone, that can only last for so long.
They really haven't been able to accumulate that much loot from POIs surrounding them as well. They basically went Lava Siphon straight up north and then right back down into Lava Siphon. Not a lot of additional POIs to gather convenience from.
Wow, this is so good.
Stabilization for now. I will say difficult to push, especially knowing there's another squad here. Ash Portal could get them out. I'm not writing Tim.
What are we doing? We are playing footsie with the building here. Ring Around the Rosie is all going to do and gain you get damage. University of Ottawa, you have to respect this roster. I just told you the statistics a second ago. They don't know this. But Foster's Festus has been a menace today when we talk about so much of the pressure that we've seen from this roster, and will take advantage of your mistakes here.
I know you saw that map as well as I did. You see Southern Miss holding all of Siphon with 3 players. They are so spread out, they don't give a hoot.
Individual prowess now transfers to Minnesota State, coming in from the opposite choke. They sneak their way in through, and one final port there will seal the deal. But from behind, Mankey, that is a distance out and away to level Speed Demon down with the Motherload. Not something I expected.
Seen Ash Portal go over Minnesota State. There's got to be a fight kicking off somewhere if that's happening, because there's not a whole lot of escapes around Minnesota State. So maybe holding the roof. It looks like, yes, Davenport going to sit right across from them. University of Ottawa have moved in past Texas A&M. CSUDH with the master sniper, Sleep King, may still be able to make their move as well. Maybe picking up a few kills on the way. But everyone's sort of frozen right now. You're too close for comfort. You're too close to pick a fight. But at the same time, these squads are going to have to go for it. Queen Gales, unfortunately, do go down. 13 squads left. We've still got both our match point teams in this.
Southern Miss maybe now forced to regroup here after what was that level of separation. Oklahoma getting involved. Now off of a reset, I remind you, they were taken out to a at least single person, I believe, interceptor out towards Geyser. Now could put a thorn in the side of USM. Granted, taking that center building, they're going to have a lot of very good control to work with here. Oh boy.
Not nearly as comfortable. Just looking at the rotation that they're going to have to make. Yeah, what's up?
Look at that map.
Oh, you mean how they have to move up to Harv?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was just talking about that with Oklahoma, that, like, yeah, their position is good, but, like, is it good for when you have to move in here? Probably not. Probably not.
Oh, this is tough. A big chunk of our zone. It's only Maryville, KSU, and CSU LB who actually lay control out in Harvester today. There's going to be a mass exodus here now with that information clear and standardized on the board. Southern Miss, not the worst rotate ahead here. S-Choke still very much available. And Texas A&M, you can already see them making for big sweeping moves to the north to try to rotate in from the opposite choke. This could be a deeper investment, maybe to an evac as well, playing around height.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you want to play, because even looking at the next zone, I'm struggling to list teams that are in a power position. Sitting center of Harvester, not necessarily it. You kind of want to be the last team coming out of here. You kind of want to be the team like Southern Miss that's coming from the south. You kind of want to be CSULB. It's so difficult to predict what's going to be the best spot in Harvester when so many teams are arriving late to the party.
Big EMPs there from Syndicate, leads to early knocks, dead, and drops there. JP doesn't get to do much but anything instead of stand there and take it. Roland's eliminated with Texas A&M going for this northern choke. This is really tough. You've got someone behind you, several teams rotating from the east. This could be hard.
Yeah, Texas A&M, because I know they heard that fight, have to have the information that they not only have to take this engagement, but whatever lies ahead of them as well. Evac Tower means that we've at least got one team trying to avoid the hassle of doing so, but I'm not sure whether that's going to work out for them. Aloe, low, 50 flesh, but is going to survive. Syndicate, not so lucky. Swifty landing the last hit. Now you're as a duo. Aloe still extremely low. Texas A&M, they gamble, but they get a bit lucky here with the fact that that team did not want to engage them.
It's good for now, but it still doesn't answer the issue of the choke ahead here. CFU Blue were knocked in their rotation. Aloe was peppered down on that final itch here. This is really risky. Opting to play for the fissure down below. Crimson Monkey might actually sneak on.
I mean, who looks here is really... That's really got to be the big question.
No way.
Can actually hit the res as well. I'm surprised to see Aloe get back into this, but if you can get your Catalyst healed up, having a catwall can give you that much more survivability in the mid and late game. Texas A&M have made their way into this next zone, safe for now, and now we know where we're going, Zephyr. Texas A&M still a pretty good spot. Davenport also really nice. Southern Miss sandwiched right up against another squad. Might be you, Ottawa.
This is you, Ottawa, here. Now going to drop the Muller load. Point blank there. Mankipu centralizing the trap here ahead for University of Ottawa. And they need to come out on top of this one instead. A nice, successful port away will put Ottawa back into a place of control there. That's big utility utilized from Southern Miss. And with 40 seconds to go, they might have to go south here.
CSUDH went down, and And I mean, this is a good spot. This tunnel is a great spot to play, especially if you've got an altar. You don't have an altar. Southern Miss have got to move all the way south and are going to have to fight CSULB on the way in, who also have to move themselves. It's the same thing that we were wondering about with Texas A&M just last game. Whether you can make a rotation and take a fight at the same time, it's really difficult to do. But Southern Miss are going to have to do it if they want a chance at winning, where Texas A&M own the whole north side of this. I love the fact that they jump into the Siphon side to make sure that path is clear before ultimately committing into Harvester for their endgame position.
Southern Miss out from the south. They come out on top of this game. They are a team that has fought for this win. Allowed, though, very freely to walk from the south side, given the fact that they did invest a lot of control early to take control of this space. Schmalz, I've got big respect for Schmalz, but this is a tough spot that Minnesota find themselves in.
No amount of respect really gets you out of 25 HP in a dream. KSU and U Ottawa going to go down top 10 teams. Remember, we've still got both of our match point eligible squads in this, and Southern Miss are getting aggressive on it as well, looking for the finish on Winthrop, and they will find it. Thales not giving an inch.
Oklahoma, I do want to point out, clears the side there, sends University of Ottawa packing. That's the first big dub we've gotten to see from Oklahoma all day. I talked about the fact that they do have these capabilities. It's just been a ticking time bomb. Now in control of the South themselves. Carlon goes down. That's the big hitter. That's your fragger of this roster. Partizzi puts this one back together. As we take a look at that next zone, Texas A&M, they've opted to split the difference.
They see that next zone pop and they go, well, you know what we got to do. Now you got to be scared. As Ottawa, Pair starting to move in. Unfortunately, that tether on Fiddle Dude will stop the push, but it's enough to at least get the first knock on Partiz. Texas A&M, with the catwall covering them, have pushed Oklahoma on away. Now hiding out, Minnesota State going to go down 7 teams left. Fiddle Dude finishes the kill. Quick banner recovery on Partiz. Oklahoma almost lose another as Interceder gets hit with 100.
Still, Texas A&M not quite in zone yet. Trying to figure out, well, where everyone's gone here. They don't quite know that they've got this space to themselves. That final nade does at least secure the position here. Notably, I want to point out this zone fairly awkward to play around. It's got this deep underside that you can see Southern Miss trying to take advantage of. They want to clear out the entirety of Harvester. It's the only way they'll win this game.
Thales commits, and Thales comes up big. CSULB down. 6 squads left.
Oh.
1 from height, 1 from low ground. Texas A&M actually looking up at this as Southern Miss retake the high ground. Texas A&M balancing 2 plates, and they only got 1, smashing it on the floor. That was a near knock from Pair.
Texas A&M have to play this super carefully. USM, if they get a single knock over on the backside here, will send it. And it's worse than that. This zone very much in play for the next 2 minutes. They have to manage this so well. Southern Miss, though, are beginning to invest themselves on the other side of the split here. Trying to see if they can, once again, like I said, clear out a lot of the pressure from Harvester. They're going to want to just as well be able to walk in further here in the next moments ahead.
I can't believe that we've got Southern Miss and Texas A&M playing on opposite sides of the wall from each other. 2 of our squads on match point, the only 2 that could end the tournament right here, and they're picking a fight with each other. Pair is going to go down. Southern Miss should have the opportunity to send this. Quick Rolling Thunder to come in defensively, but there's no fast reset on Pair. Zwifty going to go for it. No nades following this up as Mango got traded. The big change there as these teams go head-to-head, but more and more focus has been drawn toward Texas A&M. After that, Pair's going to get re-knocked by the Austin boys. Southern Miss, they smell weakness. They go for it. Thales gets snared, though. Has to use the portal to get out. And Southern Miss, down in ultimate, still cannot finish Texas A&M.
This is really tough, trying to pressure with the nades. It is a slow burn there. Zwifty sticking with it. Finally, the bombardment to come through as Mickey does taste their own fare. A mobile shield and another reset of the castle wall from seconds before is going to give them their chance to play for recovery. These 2 absolute titans continue to go neck and neck, but the best part is they've exuded all the time on the round 6. They've gotten through all of it, all together, all 6 players still within the fight. And I'll tell you what, that wall is going to split them now. no team, they're going to have to play the exit at the exact same time. And the big question I have for you, Diaz, that castle wall on pair, it being utilized for recovery, is that the difference?
I mean, it could spell the very end of Texas A&M here. They've got a small bit of cover now provided by the respawn beacon, but I wouldn't hinge your game on that. The Southern Miss, another big question. What are they going to go for? Yes, they've got cover, but they also don't have an easy way to eliminate a lot of squads. They're still looking at Texas A&M, and we could see both teams eliminated with the whole lobby looking at them.
This is tough. Texas A&M clearly the first to move here and likely to go out, sticking for some of the final heals before they have to take fights. A port available from Fiddledude, but with double major arc snares down here, it's unlikely they get a real thriving chance. Meanwhile, for USM, sent out and home. Texas A&M porting around the edge. That'll be it for Pear. Caught out as OU cut the zone in half with the wall.
Southern Miss went down, 4 squads left. Texas A&M trying to recover right now, and Swifty's got to buy his team all the time in the world. Pear is back in the game, and Texas A&M are laying down the hurt. Maryville go down, it's 3 squads left. Texas A&M, somehow not the focus, managed to clean up another. Pear's all healed up. Fiddledude takes the flank, and Texas A&M, with the 3v1 in the end, are going to take your Split 2 finals of College Apex. That's how we do it, Zephyr. That was an incredible game. I can't believe they managed to pull that off. Are you okay? You all right? Oh. That's a proud papa moment.
It's been a lot of hard work, man.
Congratulations.
That's our first match point win ever. It's been a lot of hard work getting here. Dang. I know it's a lobby with a lot of variation, but it feels good to finally give the boys a match point win. I only hope this serves as an example of what this roster can continue to do.
I mean, that was a very good final game. It wasn't easy for anyone. Southern Miss was absolutely in the conversation. The 2 squads going up against each other for so long there. I don't think you can look at this match point game and say for anybody that it was easy. And it is absolutely a win. The Texas A&M, they deserved it. They earned it in that game itself, in those 20-25 minutes. Really fantastic end. And I didn't think when we saw that last zone go down.
I thought that was it, man.
I thought it was it, yeah. You're going to another game.
I cannot believe it. An insane recovery there for Texas A&M. Not only pressured by USM the entire time coming out of round 5, having to sit off of reset after reset after reset. Yeah.
You know,
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's actually if you think of it, it's very rare that you get the immediate interview. No, normally we wrap up, we give our post game thoughts, and then you're like, oh, let's talk to somebody from the team. But in a sort of serendipitous way, I mean, Zephyr, you poured a lot of your heart and your soul into 2 sides of Apex, into, of course, commentating and coaching these guys. I want to ask you about because you say it's your first match point win. It's very, of course, emotional for you, for the team, about what it is that's been most challenging to overcome in match point specifically, because it is something that you infrequently get to practice.
Yeah, I think for the boys, they've had years to really put this together. This is not their first match point rodeo. It's far from it. And there's the growing joke in collegiate Apex. Second place for Texas A&M. because they're so good at coming out on some of these days, and they just barely don't quite cut it and barely don't get the win. And then, they end up with most points, but second place. And I think this win right here is so important because it breaks that silly curse. And for them, I think it alleviates so much of the pressure of this roster, right? Not having that hang over their heads, not having the pressure of, can we really do it? This is the first time that they've gotten the answer. They can. They're more than capable. It doesn't matter if you're up against someone who's played in Pro League or men who have found their way to match point previously. You can cut the mustard.
A lot of confidence gained by the squad now. And I mean, hopefully by you as well. I know you've always believed in the team, but it's one thing to believe and one thing to see it happen. Now that we talked about it, this is a big moment. It's also a qualification for so much more. And so, I mean, looking at this match day, we only got the one game on World's Edge. What do you think is, I don't know, what would you like to see more of from other squads, from your own squad? What are you going to be working on?
I think for a lot of these teams, first split you get that access, second split you get another. Now you've been tried and true. For so many of these teams, you've come close to glory and you've lost it all, but in the same moment. And now we only sit less than a month away from the big stage here, where they get a chance to go at it again with another 2 additional squads to come through here from LCQ to compete for, I believe, the prize pool currently sits at 5K. Everyone can correct me if I'm wrong.
Twitch chat, correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, Twitch or whoever, or anybody who's a producer in here too. It is a big moment for a lot of these rosters that they've gotten the chance to at least practice now in their qualification, and will now have to prove themselves as we talk about less than a month that separates themselves here. And the same goes for Texas A&M. The same goes for me as a coach. This is not the time to take your foot off the gas. This is the time to accelerate.
And that's going to go for teams like Texas A&M. That's going to go for teams like Oklahoma that maybe had a little bit of a rougher game today. It's really tough when you hit a bump in the road like this, but you've still got all of the teams that showed up here have still got a lot that we know they can do. Oklahoma still coming in at 5th. Managed to pull things back towards the end. Minnesota State, CSUF playing very well today as well. Managed to keep themselves up there. It is a huge separation, though. Texas A&M and Southern Miss were playing out of their minds in this whole series.
It is definitely going to make finals a scary thing. I do want to highlight there as we go down the list, the current 8 you see is not the explicit qualified teams, especially as teams like Southern Miss have already earned their qualification on Split 1. The same can be said for CSUF. So I'll read them here now for those who, of course, are waiting. Texas A&M, Minnesota State. Congratulations to Loopy and the boys, Schmal, Gravity, and Speedy there. Davenport, KSU Apex, their second roster now to qualify for finals. That is big. CSULB, Maryville, a huge name in the collegiate scene. SVC Gold, even as a duo here today. And of course, CSUDH Cardinal. I don't have much information more regarding Split 1 presence for Queensgale and Down, but they've still got a chance to make it happen here when we talk about the LCQs coming up.
I mean, the fight's never over. LCQ is actually going to come up on April 12th, so we've got a lot more College Apex to look forward to. Zephyr, it's been an amazing day. Match point, huge win. I could not have written a better moment for it's just, I mean, it's nice to see. It's nice to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna quit crying as we wrap this up. It is great to see the growth thus far in College Apex Legends. These teams have put put themselves together in such a lightning speed fashion, with the turnaround being just the end of February here into this competition. And I know we've got some other heavy hitters that are going to look to sign up and play through the LCQs, and that can definitely throw a wrench into those that have put the practice forward. So stay tuned, because for Collegiate Apex, this is crazy enough. This is just the beginning of the action, Dia.
It's been an incredible day. You can't do it without a lot of hard work, without a lot of dedication. And lastly, and most importantly, Zephyr, you can't do it without Wenzel's Farm Snack Sticks. Fuel your game with Wenzel's Farm Snack Sticks. No mess, no distractions, just bold, protein-packed flavor to keep you locked in, whether you're grinding ranked, whether you are winning a match point finals. Wenzel's keeps you powered up. Grab a stick, stay in the game, crush the competition. Wenzel's Farm, fuel for gamers, flavor for champions. A big thank you to Wenzel's Farm for making today's incredible games possible. And I mean, we'll see you on April 12th with the LCQ. Look out in early May for the grand finals. Like you said, Zephyr, College Apex is just beginning, and you can catch it all right here. We'll see you next time.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
Hell with that.
Ah, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh! What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just can't. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
From the other side. Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me.